Hey, I wanted to mention some big sports news because we had a ton of big sports news over the weekend. The entire country was
We got
talking about the NFL draft.
oh
And specifically, people were wanting to know who's going first, who's going second, who's going where. And of course, there was some controversy with the with who didn't get drafted, maybe the way we thought. But we'll start right at the top. Your lowly, woe is me Titans
yeah.
picked up a hell of a quarterback. Are you happy?
I'm a tried and true Titan fans. I'll stick with them, but everybody in Titan land, so I don't want to spoil the party, is super excited. Cam Ward, number one draft choice, da 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 da. But rookie quarterbacks, it has there been a super successful one. At the end of the day, if we don't have an O line, that's where I'm kind of being negative, Nancy, here. But yes, I'm optimistic. Every report, as far as you're hearing, I mean, from the inside of the inside of the inside of the Titans camp, is that Cam is the real deal and his head on is straight and he wants to learn. And, he's going to develop. Time takes time. But with our new stadium coming, Conrad, and everything that kind of goes with that, that's the buzz around town. And, man, when you drive through 65, Conrad, and you see the current Titan Stadium and the new one going up right next to it, it's going to be domed and all the stuff that goes with it, and the buzz and the high rises and the cranes downtown. And, Nashville is not anywhere close to the same city it was even 5 years ago, let alone 10 or 15 years ago. So he's going to have the weight of the world on his shoulders. To me, the whole Titans franchise, they better turn it around. I'll just say that you can feel the fan base extremely skeptical, if you will, that, hey, man, we've had some rough years. It's about time we start seeing some daylight. So they're my team, and I'll pull through them through any set of circumstances, but I'm hoping for the best. We'll see, Connie.
The other big news that is a little bit wrestling related is that the Jacksonville Jaguars traded up to the number 2 spot, and they picked up one of the more dynamic players coming out of college this year. Mr. Travis Hunter calls himself a Jacksonville Jaguar. And the Jags posted video of Travis flying in and arriving at their home stadium. We got to see our man Tony Khan shaking hands with Travis Hunter over the weekend. He's in Jacksonville now. What do you think of Tony's latest acquisition, Travis Hunter?
High risk, high reward. And I'm not anywhere close to, me and you just like to talk about it, but they leveraged a lot. But I love the strategy. And, Shad did not become a billionaire by not taking some strategic chances. And so, you talk again in those NFL circles and different folks. Look, they're not just saying he's a generational talent. They've got all these kind of stats and analytics and this and that. And I mean, this morning in the gym, that was kind of the buzz on, is he going to play offense? Is he going to play defense? They're going to let him play both ways. I'm curious to see how Jacksonville handles him. That tweet you sent me on the Jaguars coach, they've all got their work cut out, but they got the QB, and that's, in some circles, say, oh, that's debatable. I do. I think the QB there. So they're putting the piece of the puzzle. Man, I hope they do great. I really do. A lot of excitement. The kid is, what a bundle of energy. Have you seen much of his, I guess you could just say, his charisma in his interviews, Conrad?
No, I love him. I think it was a home run. I was a little bit skeptical when I heard what all they gave up. I was like, I don't know. And then I saw who they got, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, man, he's going to sell some jerseys. He's going to have a lot. He's going to have a lot of value to that franchise. So,
Yeah.
shout out to the Khan family. It's a major move.
Huge.
The Sanders story.
Oh, God.
You're a sports junkie. Is there a wrestling equivalent to this, Jeff? I mean, I don't remember ever seeing anything like this in the history of the draft.
So let me ask you, Conrad, has the NFL, I don't even see of any sports league, even a close second. They have turned picking 7 rounds of college kids that for the most part, are not really going to make any effect on this upcoming year. It's just kind of how their business works. Now, there's going to be some, and then when they do affect, it'll be 2 or 3 years down the line. So it's a developmental. So anyway, but the numbers and the ratings and Conrad, all the hype, and Cody was dialed into it because there was talk that Shedeur could go to Pittsburgh. And that got Cody dialed in. And if Cody was dialed in, he had to bring his mom in. So he's telling Karen about it. Karen, Conrad, watched all of Thursday.
Wow.
All of Friday.
Wow.
And I'm not kidding you, all of Saturday until we went out on the water. And she's just like, she asked me on Thursday 15 different questions. Like, what is all, she had never watched it, didn't understand it. So the Shedeur story, because of the father son and the human interest side of it. And, Cody was giving her backstory and obviously throwing the Steelers out there. And then Karen was asking me, and I'm just like, okay, at the end of the day, I think Deion is certainly in the conversation. Look, if we don't get too old school and throw a Jim Thorpe in there, but in the modern era, one of the top 5 greatest athletes of all time, not in sport, of all time. I mean, he was unbelievable. And he turned things around at Colorado. So all kind of hype and prime time and all that. But man, when you say wrestling equivalent, I immediately kind of went to the father-son thing, and I'm being the son of a promoter. And look, I am so glad my old man, our personal relationship was damaged for years and years and years, but we got to turn that around. But the professional wrestling stuff, just how he made sure he made it as hard as possible. But you look at other promoters' kids and relationships and everything that goes with it. Man, Deion put a lot of pressure on his son and on the teams and the interviews that he did, and said, look, there's some teams I'm not going to let my kid play for. And look, Travis and Shedeur are going to be top 5. So he lumped his son in with that. Just all of it, Conrad. And I get it. But the kid is 21, 22 years old and making all that kind of NIL money, driving around in a Bentley. The son of Deion is hard enough, but to get into college and have all this kind of stuff, man, he stacked the deck against his own son. And I always ask myself as I watched it the 3 days, wonder if Deion realizes the kind of pressure, or does he care? Because at the end of the day, in a lot of ways, it was set up for failure, because unless he would have gone in the top 10, everything else was headlines. Shedeur Sanders slides massively. Was Deion the cause? Shedeur slides Sands. Was it because of his interviews? They just kind of went on and on. I mean, they went down rabbit hole after rabbit hole and rabbit hole. But Conrad, in a crazy kind of way, the prank call that happened is Shedeur's saving grace, because it positions him as a very sympathetic kid, that kind of what we're talking about. But to your question, Conrad, you know who came to my mind? Who's the comparable? Basically a can't miss prospect that just, by all accounts, has no belief sliding to the 144th pick in the 5th round. I think Gable Steveson is the #1 draft choice on every board, on every metric, on every process that you could think of, a guy that's going to go into our business and that is a can't miss. And we all kind of know the result of that not only did he not last, I mean, it was kind of in record time, and a few different things that he did appear on, he laid an egg. So the business just, it wasn't for him, but it makes you appreciate the Steiners of the world, the Kurt Angles of the world, the amateur wrestlers that really clicked in this business. But yeah, I think Shedeur and Gable is a pretty good analogy as far as draft day. Now, I wish Shedeur all the luck in the world. I hope he gets to Cleveland and does great in the quarterback room. And I hate to say it, but I do. But, Deion, cheer your son on from afar. Let him stand on his own 2 feet. That ain't going to happen, because I think he's already said he's going to the first QB meeting. So I'm sure Flacco and the Browns and Mr. Haslam and all that ownership, what a circus it's going to be. But it will sell tickets.
I do want to follow up more on the wrestling equivalent of that, but you mentioned Gable Steveson. We haven't talked about him in a while.
Steve,
I want to circle back to him though. What do you think he does next? Like we know that he had all the success in the world, won the gold medal, went to WWE, tried his hand there for whatever reason. Pro wrestling and him just didn't seem like it was the best fit. He went back to college. Wyatt Hendrickson beat him in the NCAA finals, I guess several weeks ago now. But it did feel like that presentation was bigger than ever. I mean, it had a big fight feel. The freaking president was there. It was on live TV. I mean, it was a sold out, packed place. What do you think's next for Gable? I've never really thought about that until you said, hey, it didn't really work out for him in pro wrestling, but where does he go from here? If he's not going to, is the only option the UFC? Is that the only logical choice at this point? Get a real job? What go coach in college, maybe?
Conrad, a guy that kind of, and what was it? I mean, well, you won't know it, but like his record is crazy, dude. I mean, that's why he was such a can't miss. And so the skill set is the accolades and the skill set and the charisma.
103-3.
Good God
His
Almighty!
Big Ten record is 36-0. His dual record is 59-0. 4-time Big Ten champion, 4-time All-American, 2-time Danny Hodge Trophy win, 2-time most outstanding wrestler of the Big Ten, 2-time NCAA national champion, 103-3.
Bare knuckles champion. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Well, but that wouldn't translate, right? Like if you could go be bare knuckles champ, then you just go straight to the U. Like if you could wrestle and box, you just go straight to the UFC, wouldn't you?
Well, what I'm saying is some kind of fight game.
It's got to be.
Shit. The dude can handle himself. Let's just say that.
There's no doubt.
On a completely different level. You know, and I don't know enough about the Olympic kind of that whole world, but getting paid in just because, look, if college kids are getting paid now, and that Cooper flag and NCAA basketball, I know you're not the craziest basketball junkie, but there's a couple of things I follow on Instagram. How much money is allotted for a college team, even some mid majors? Conrad, these boys are getting paid. I mean, paid.
Well, what do you make of that new legislation that could potentially say, hey, why are you arbitrarily giving these guys 5 years? As long as they stay in school, technically they're a student, they could continue. In theory, guys could just go to school forever and keep playing in college. Like, I don't think that'll happen, but I also never thought what's happening right now would be happening right now, right?
Because it's a business and it's driven by money and all that. I was talking to, I better not say his name, he'd probably prefer, but a former pro football player that performed in the college. I mean, he plays 5 years at pro, so he can play high level in college, really good, like ass kicking in college. We had a conversation and it was we were doing the same body part. So we had a kind of running conversation. And I brought up, I'm like, these guys that are 18 years, 19, 20 years old, and this Nico, the people don't follow with the UT story, is basically, it turned out bad for him. He listened to some bad advice, period. He listened to some bad advice, and he was due about $2 million from UT, and now he went to UCLA and he's going to get, I think, 1.5, and then you're going to get taxed. Unlike the state of Tennessee, you're going to get, it's going to get money cut in half. But why not, when you have all this money, and let's let the CAA, the WME, the agents of the world that really know how to guide guys' careers, let's let them get involved now and guide it and regulate it. Because if you're going to have a 25, right now, my daughter Jarrett, she plays, basketball, and the way things are done, it affects every level. She's at the D3 level, but it affects literally every level. So it's going to be really interesting to how college sports evolve, because at the end of the day, a D2 is a feeder to a D1 if you're talking from a freshman perspective. Anyway, the game is continuing to change. It's fascinating to see where it's going to go.
I don't know that you saw, but whoever runs KFC Social responded the other day to Shedeur Sanders, where he was finally drafted, and he wrote, "Thank you, God." KFC replied and said, "The Colonel was rejected 1,009 times before finally landing our famous original recipe. Sometimes all the Sanders needs is a little time to cook." Congrats, Shedeur.
I love it. That's on top of their social media game.
I
Hats
love
off
it.
to KFC.
Man, how did you find a way to insert yourself into the conversation